Hey, what's going on, everybody, man? My name's Riley. If it's your first time seeing my face here on YouTube, go subscribe to my channel and leave a like on this video. Before we roll in today's clip, we do have a giveaway up for you guys when we reach 1,000 subscribers. We got a little gift card giveaway for you guys. We just reached 500 subscribers. I just want to say I greatly appreciate all y'all that's been watching these videos so far and enjoying them. I'm going to keep pumping out content like this in the future and multiple different niches here I'm going to start dabbling into. So yeah, y'all join the ride. Go down there, subscribe to the channel, like this video. We've also been live streaming here on YouTube, Kick, and Twitch. I'm gonna go ahead and link the other links to the other channels down in the description. Y'all go check those out. Very much appreciate it. We go live usually 5 to 6 days a week. So go ahead and smash the bell so you're not missing when I do go live here on YouTube. And pop in and say what's up. You know, we usually running some games or just kind of just vibing out. So y'all interested in that? Come in, say what's up. I'll be answering y'all back in the comment sections, and let's go ahead and roll today's clip. Looks like we're jumping over to a prison inmate case where a prison guard that allegedly has an OnlyFans is now involved in a sex scandal with an inmate at this institute. So I'm not too sure quite the extensions of this sex scandal case. We're gonna have to unpack this together. So let's go ahead and hop right into this and let's go. Alright, you got through and roll this clip. Make sure you're comfortable. Grab something to snack on and something to sip. And let's enjoy this video together.
A guard is accused of having sexual relations with an inmate at a London prison, and it was caught on tape? Those are the shocking new allegations facing one woman out in the UK. We're going to bring on prison consultant Justin Paperney to talk about it. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. All right, we're going to go over to the UK for this one, and this concerns 30-year-old corrections officer Linda De Souza Abreu. She has been arrested for allegedly having sex with an inmate at Wandsworth Prison late last month, a prison reportedly plagued by violence, vermin, and overcrowding. We'll get to that, but let's talk a little bit more about that, because what's more is this encounter, or reported encounter, was allegedly captured on cell phone footage, a video that is circulated on social media. Now, we obviously will not show you this tape, but it purportedly shows Abreu dressed in prison garb, engaging in various sex acts with a prisoner in a cell, while another prisoner, presumably this man's cellmate, films this, looks on, he's smoking, making comments such as, "Guys, we've made history, this is what I'm telling you, and this is how we roll in Wandsworth." So the arrest comes after an investigation
wild, bro.
was
Prison
launched
inmate,
by
bro.
the Metropolitan Police
fuck?
after they became aware of this video.
Dude.
Abreu appeared at the Uxbridge Magistrates Court in West London. She is charged with misconduct in public office. We believe this is defined as willfully and without reasonable excuse or justification misconducted herself in a way which amounted to an abuse of the public's trust in the office holder by engaging in a sexual act with a prisoner in a prison cell.
Dude is so damn horny.
Now, she was granted conditional bail, but here's the thing. She's a Portuguese national, and reportedly her passport was confiscated. She's forbidden from international travel. She's reportedly electronically monitored for a large portion of the day as well. And I'll give you a little bit of background on Miss Abreu. So the New York Post is reporting that she is a married swinger, has an OnlyFans account, and once appeared on UK TV discussing her passion for sex. In fact, her sister told the Daily Mail, quote, "Linda gave herself to the wrong lifestyle 100%, and now she's suffering the consequences, unfortunately, which has fallen down on her husband, our parents, and myself."
So this girl says she came out in the UK news, says she's addicted to sex pretty much, and the prison guard said, "Yeah, let me hire you in and put you in a male facility." Yeah, all right. Makes sense.
Is scheduled to appear at Isleworth Crown Court on July 29th. Okay, I want to bring on right now a guest that we haven't had on Sidebar before. I'm looking forward to talking to him. Prison consultant Justin Paperney. Justin, thanks so much for coming on. What a case to talk about. Now, before we even get started, my understanding is, let's talk about the prison. You are familiar with this prison, right?
We have a client who had served some time there. And I'll tell you something, that when you know it's a bad prison when someone says, I would rather serve time at Metropolitan Detention Center in New York, where he was extradited to, than this prison in Europe, because it was so awful, so sickening, so filthy. And it really, the tone was set at the top with corrections and leadership. They let the prisoners run the asylum, in his own words. So when you have that sort of leadership, you could expect these sort of things to happen. And most people who go to prison are thinking, what can I do to create a record to get out as quickly as possible? In this prison, very little programming, very little correcting, and enables these people, or some of these prisoners, to get away with whatever they like. I will say it is surprising to so many people when they hear this story, though I will tell you, hardly a week goes by without some prison guard or correctional officer getting arrested for something. This might be at the top, a little different, having sex on camera for the world to see. But these things happen, from penitentiaries to minimum security camps where I serve time, and hopefully it brings attention to corrections in ways that we can manage these
don't even look like a prison,
a little
bro.
better, with hopes that it helps people transition back to society better and to create safer communities. But people are stunned, not me.
Yeah, something you mentioned.
Yeah, now she's addicted to sex.
Video,
I mean, let's be real.
Ms. Abreu, it seems to me, knew that she was being filmed, so it wasn't like it was in secret. You had mentioned that as well. Going back to Wandsworth, though, how does a prison like this get to be at this
must watch the video.
I mean, it's a famous prison in London, right? There's been a lot of notable inmates.
It gets to this point because of when it was built in the 1850s. Very little.
No, 50s.
You go through a history of the prison.
Damn.
They had people getting hung there, I believe, people getting killed there, very little upgrades. I mean, it is awful. It is terrible. It should be torn down. Yet they continue to send people there, very little upgrades. And at times, people who work in corrections have good intentions, but with very little training. And if you have prisoners who see very little need in programming, with very little control, things are going to go crazy. I mean, the drugs, the alcohol, the smuggling in, both from staff, people who might visit, who are going to bring in and smuggle these drugs. I mean, and it gets to a point where there ain't no going back. As my friend who served time in that prison, who thankfully was so grateful to get extradited to America, he said there ain't no going back. And a lot of staff at the top just give up, might just view it as a paycheck, get through it day to day. And sometimes in corrections, if there's one guard or correctional officer or case manager that really stands out, that really wants to try, sometimes they can be ostracized by theug colleagues. Hug-a-thug is something they will use here in America, right? Yeah. So sometimes they just give up and they say, it's a paycheck, I'm going to do the best I can and try to avoid problems.
And this is a maximum security prison? I mean, what kind of offenders are we talking about that are housed at Wandsworth?
Yeah, violent, drug offenders, all sorts of offenders. The prison, if you were to Google it and look at it, built in 1851, the next step should be tearing it down, not rebuilding it and moving those prisoners elsewhere.
So you were not shocked by this video coming out, as a lot of us were. Was there something different about this, though? You mentioned, of course, the idea of that she seemingly knew she was being filmed, or yes, that's the allegation, but this was so blatant. And was it the idea that you weren't shocked this happened in general? Because have you seen in your experience that it's on film, but you're not shocked in the sense that these relations between inmates and corrections officers, this happens everywhere?
Sure. So about 20 years ago, my business partner, Michael Santos, wrote this book called Inside Life Behind Bars in America. And he served 26 years in prison. And it profiles his first 8 years in the penitentiary
26
in Atlanta,
years.
Which was probably the most violent prison at the time. And in that book, he writes about prison guards who might be married to another prison guard and prostituting out their wife, who is another prison guard, for myriad reasons. So certainly these things happen, like I said, from the penitentiary to the high, medium, to the low, to the camp. I served time in a minimum security camp, these cushy country clubs that people call it, where you could walk off at any time. And we knew there was a nurse who was sleeping with several prisoners. The difference here is how blatant it was. She knew that she was on film. She seemed to enjoy it. She knew this other person was smoking and providing a color commentary like we're watching a baseball or soccer game. She seemed to enjoy it and did not consider the consequences, or maybe she did consider the consequences and figured this would blow her into stardom, because if she's got another business or fans, you could argue this could take her to a whole nother level. And I don't know if she gets sentenced to a lengthy federal prison sentence over this. The shame and embarrassment, ruining of her career, just the pain that is accompanied this might be enough. You could actually argue this gets her closer to what she might already want, a career in this space. We've got to embrace that.
Well, of course. I mean, we're speculating at this point, and of course, we know that there's.
It's like every female's dream nowadays, man. It's fortunate.
She does have a sickness, some sort of. You heard the statements from her family member about what's been going on with her, so we don't really know her precise motivations or what she might be struggling with. I guess I would ask in general. You mentioned there was a myriad of reasons why prison guards would pimp out their wives to the inmates. In general, why do we see prison staff having sexual relations with inmates? I mean, in your best guess of why we see this happening.
People are horny.
I can tell you the majority of them are very admirable and go into corrections to want to help people and train and correct. I worked with phenomenal case managers, and I was grateful for their support. But in any industry, there could be anomalies of people that stand out. When I get calls from prison guards who have been arrested, at times they tend to blame the inmate. I was exploited. I was manipulated. I was trying to help them. A little bit of the Stockholm syndrome, where I had a lot of sympathy for them, and I heard their stories, and they had tough backgrounds, and I didn't think they should be imprisoned, and I wanted to help them, and they have no money coming in because their family can't send money. So if I could bring in an iPhone or maybe a little bit of marijuana to ease their pain, or some food and things that make their time on the inside a little better, it's not fair how they've been treated. So any guards that have reached out to us who have been indicted say, I feel as if I was manipulated to some degree. And they're very charismatic and they're good salesmen. And then one said, that's why they're in prison after all. So I encourage them to accept responsibility, to not blame the prisoners for their plight, but to recognize they made really bad choices. So I want to be clear. Most in corrections are terrific. They care. But there are those who take advantage and who some enjoy it, right? It can be, any job at times can be monotonous, day in, day out, day in, day out. It can be a little exciting if you're going to get paid a little money on the side and bring in some things, the drugs, the iPhones. It can be a little exciting, shake up the monotony that any human feels in their day-to-day work life. The problem is most correctional officers say, stop, this is my job, I'm not going to do it. Some succumb to that temptation, and terrible problems follow. We have, like I said, a guard a week, I believe, in America gets arrested. It's global, and their life changes
Guard
forever.
A week.
Many of them end up in federal prison. This woman may end up in prison.
Yeah, and it's interesting. It goes back to something that I've explored before with this idea of why serial killers receive love letters. And one of the things that we've explored, and I've spoken to professionals about this, is that there's something about the fact that the inmate is locked up, that you want to have a relationship with somebody, you know where they are, they can't come out, it's a little bit of control. I know you're not a psychologist, but do you think that's a fair assessment? We also see this happening at times?
There's no doubt when you're around someone's living there, and you're around them in the chow hall or the chaplain or in the unit, it is inevitable. Conversations are going to open up. There's going to be similarities. There is no question that's going to happen, and you form a connection, and before you know it, a connection can turn into a romance, and some don't have the ability to stop it. And as a result of that, there's lasting pain. I mean, look at, even if this woman avoids prison, look at the shame and pain she is enduring, going to that courthouse, trying to cover herself. But with the internet, you can't cover it. And to your point earlier about what is so different about this, when Michael was in prison writing about these experiences in Atlanta, there was no iPhone, right? There were no iPads where prisoners could film it. So he's writing about it. To have someone film it and then put it out there for tens of millions of people to see is just is something so unusual.
That's my question to you. Also, the cell phone, right? How did the cell phone make its way into that cell? Is that allegedly from her? I mean, I don't know how do people sneak? Do inmates? How would they be able to sneak in a cell phone?
That
contraband.
It's as easy as, it's the easiest thing you could do right now in any prison in the world. You have drones
wild.
Dropping packages into prison yards that have food and iPhones and drugs. Guards may smuggle them in. People may visit and bring them in. I estimate in some prisons, 40% of the prisoners have iPhones. I mean, that's a global issue.
40% of prisoners in America have iPhones.
It's very easy to get these iPhones and contraband into the prison. Sometimes by corrupt staff, other times by visitors. It's not hard. That if you have a will, there's a way in prison. That much I can tell you.
Yeah, and again, this is not the first time that we've seen this happen. Clearly, Abreu is not the first prison official to allegedly do this. In fact, according to the Daily Mail UK, there are official stats that indicate that since 2013, more than 80 prison staff have been fired or penalized for having sexual relations with inmates. So, Justin,
over 80.
Thank you so much for coming on, explaining the situation to us. What a video, what a story. Thanks so much.
Thank you for the invitation.
All right.
Wow, they only caught over 80, you know what I mean? So there's probably multiple different scenarios going on over there in that UK prison, bro. Holy shit. They need to lock that thing. They do need to tear that thing down, apparently. But I want to know what y'all's thoughts and comments down in this situation below. This just sounds like someone damn too horny to be working in a damn prison guard. I don't know why they put a female guard in a male institute anyway, especially she's known, came out on the news and all that shit saying that, how they put it, said she loves sex, has OnlyFans. I mean, come on, bro. Let's put two together here. But go ahead and let's comment down below. I'll be commenting back to every single comment on this video. So I'll check y'all back down there in the comment section. We are going to go ahead and wrap this one up. We do got the little giveaway once we reach 1,000 subscribers. So down there, smash the subscribe button, like this video, share it for bonus points. We've also got those live streams up, so like I said, go ahead and smash the bell too, so you're not missing those live streams. You go check out my Kick and Twitch links down in the description below, and we'll go ahead and catch y'all tomorrow. Peace.